Hello, welcome back to our tutorial series on YouTube, where today we'll be looking at the first account of creation. So don't forget that this tutorial is brought to you by O3 School's JAMB app, and the app is available for download on Play Store. It is for students, just to help them with their preparations for examinations. I know right now we have UTME coming up, and I promise you, O3 School's JAMB app is your best bet, at getting that dream score that you so desire. So let's run through what we have for today. The first account of creation. This topic is a subtopic under sovereignty of God. That's in the syllabus for JAMB. That's in the JAMB provided syllabus for UTME, the first account of creation. So God is sovereign, and his sovereignty is best manifested in the creation story. But then there are two accounts of creation in the Bible, which is why we are looking at the first today. So the Bible actually documented two creation stories. So today we'll be running through the first account of creation. The first account of creation is documented in Genesis chapter 1, the entire chapter, and then in chapter 2 from verse 1 to 3, I guess, just the first few chapters in chapter 2. The first few verses in chapter 2 also concludes the first account of creation. So in the first account of creation, the Bible says there was nothing. It was dark. There was no form, there was no void, just the Spirit of God moving over the face of the waters. To paraphrase the Bible, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So there was literally nothing, just waters. And then God spoke, and creation began. It is pertinent to know that in this account of creation, God spoke creation into existence, which is why most scholars refer to this account as the dates of creation. This account just involves God just speaking it into existence. So most scholars refer to it as the date of creation. So let's see what God created. Take note, you have to look at this in chronological order. That's the best way to learn it. So we'll look at it. On the first day, God said, "Let there be light." And then he separated the light from the darkness. The light he called day, and the darkness he called night. So we take that down. On the first day, God created lights. There we have it. The first day, God said, "Let there be light," and then he separated the light from the darkness. So on the first day, he created lights. On the second day, God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters." Remember, there was no form, there was no void, just the Spirit of God moving over. Remember, there was no form, there was no void, just the Spirit of God moving over the face of the waters. So on the second day, God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters." So the firmament separated the waters. There was now water above the firmament and water under the firmament. God called the firmament heaven. So on the second day, God created the firmament, or heaven. And he used it to separate the waters that were in existence. So God used the firmament of heaven to separate the waters. Then on the third day, God said, "Let the waters under the firmament." Remember, he has used the firmament of the heaven to separate the waters now. God now said on the third day that let the waters under the firmament separate, like let them be gathered in one place, and then let dry land appear. So the dry land God called earth, and the waters he called seas. He also said, "Let the dry land bring forth vegetation like grasses, trees, and the rest. So on the third day, God created land. Dry land and vegetation. Or you can say God created the earth, the seas and vegetations. So that was for the third day. So on the fourth day, God said, let there be light in the firmament. Let this light separate day from night. Determine seasons, signs and seasons. Days and years. As well as give light to the earth. So on the fourth day, God created lights in the firmament to separate day from night, to determine signs and seasons, days and years, and to give light to the earth. So he created two great lights and other lesser lights. The greater light was to give light in the day, and the lesser one for night. So in summary, on the fourth day, God created the sun, the moon, and the stars. On the fourth day, created the moon, the sun, and the stars. Well, let's put the sun first. Since the sun is the greater light, let's have it first. And the stars. Then we'll look at the fifth day. So on the fifth day, God said, let the waters abound with living creatures and birds fly across the face of the firmament. So on the fifth day, God created sea animals and birds. God created sea animals and birds. He blessed them and charged them to be fruitful and multiply. On the fifth day. On the sixth day, God said, let the dry land, which is the earth now, that he created on the third day, let it bring forth creatures of its own kind. But he didn't stop there. He also said, let us make man in our own image and likeness. So on the sixth day, God created land, animals, and man. Take note, man here refers to both male and female. Because in Genesis chapter 1 verse 27, it says male and female he created them. So when God said, let us make man in our image and likeness, he didn't just mean male alone. Man, male and female, God created them in his own image and likeness, and he gave them dominion over everything. So God created male and female, and he gave them dominion over everything he had created. He also blessed them and charged them to be fruitful, to multiply, to fill the earth and subdue it. Now they have dominion over everything that God created. So this is the first account of creation, that God created the earth in 6 days. On the seventh day, God rested from the work he has done. God rested. He also blessed that seventh day and sanctified it, which is why till today Christians observe the Sabbath. So the first account of creation, I said scholars refer to it as the that, because God spoke creation into existence in this account. If you check the Bible, you say, and God said, let there be, let this happen, let that happen. God said, let us make man in our own image. He created them male and female. So all was just about what God created. Refer to it as the that of creation. And then these are the things that God created on the day that he created them. Please, let's try to learn this in their chronological order. This will help you answer questions thrown at you randomly. You will not make a mistake. So we said on the first day, God created light. On the second day, he created the firmament, which he called heaven. On the third day, he created dry land, which he called earth, and vegetations. On the fourth day, he created the sun, the moon, and the stars. On the fifth day, God created sea animals and birds. On the sixth day, God created land animals and man. So let us note that God created male and female. It was explicitly stated in the Bible that God created them male and female when he said, let us make man in our own image and likeness. And then lastly, on the seventh day, God rested. This is it for the first account of creation as documented in the Bible in Genesis chapter 1 and in chapter 2 from verses 1 to 3. Now let's head over to the app and look for past questions on this first account of creation. You can always download the app from Play Store, which is the O3 Schools JAMB app, and then you activate for 3,000 naira, one-time payment only, and then you can have access to the features. There you get question search, where you can search for questions based on topics. So here we'll look for questions on the first account of creation. There's a story here. There's a question here rather asked in 2005, 2006. Question 35. It says, in the creation story, God created the firmament to separate A, evening from morning, B, light from darkness, C, the waters from the sea, the waters from the waters, and D, the heavens from the earth. If you look under, you will even get, explanation based on why you're picking the right answer, why that answer you chose is the right one. So here we know that the answer is option C. God created the firmament, or heavens as God called it, to separate the waters. You can find that in Genesis chapter 1 from verse 6 to 7. Oh, there's another question here. According to the creation account of Genesis, God charged man to A, rest on the Sabbath day, B, worship him, C, have dominion over all the earth, D, obey all his commandments. After God made man in his own image and likeness, he blessed him and he charged him to be fruitful, to multiply, to subdue the earth. So God gave man dominion over everything he had created. So the answer is C, have dominion over all the earth. Another question, what was upon the face of the deep on the first day of creation? A, light, B, food, C, water, D, darkness. Bible says the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. So darkness was upon the face of the deep. So our answer for this question is option D. All right, so there are many more questions on the app. All you need to do is head to Play Store, download the O3 Schools JAMB app, activate one-time payment only of 3,000 naira, and you are good to go. Thank you. I'll see you in the next class.